Throwback Thursday. I've mentioned with TV shows before, but today I'm going to talk about a show which came from America in the late 80s to the early 90s. And this show is called Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap was created by DonaldPBellisario. It was on for 5 seasons, and the series stars a Scott Bakula as drsambeckett. He's a physicist who involuntarily leaps through space-time during experiments in time travel and temporarily takes the place of other people to correct what he consistently discovers were historically mistakes. Within this, he has an assistant called alcalavicci. Now, basically alcalavicci is a polar opposite of Sam, because Sam Beckett is someone who does righteous, good things, where alcalavicci is a womanizing, cigar-smoking companion, and he appears to him as a hologram and researches and shares his opinions of the past. So he basically tries to guide him through these things to work out how to change the wrongs of what's happened. Now, this series, I remember as a kid watching it. So 1989, I would have been about 8, and by the time it finished, I was about 12. And the one thing I loved about this show was that when you watch the show about the idea of doing something righteous, I think what was good about it was that it had this idea of, you had the humour, you had drama, you had romance, and it was a lot of social commentary mixed with science fiction, because science fiction sometimes didn't have humour. I can say the only science fiction programme he did have humour at that time would have been Star Trek Next Generation. But a lot of science fiction programmes took itself too seriously, and comedy shows couldn't seem to do the science fiction part right. So with Quantum Leap, the physicist does theorise that time travel within one's lifetime is possible. He spent a lot of money with his project Quantum Leap, and the government threatens to halt the funding, so as no progress has been made. So Sam decides to test the project accelerator by himself, and ends up he's stuck in time. And the idea of this is that he's stuck in time, he tries to get over all these wrongs.
Theorizing that one could time travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanished. He awoke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, and driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. His only guide on this journey is Al, an observer from his own time, who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam can see and hear. And so Dr. Beckett finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home.
So the other thing as well is, and this is the other thing as well, with Sam, he's also, because of his intelligence, he's got photographic memory, virtuosic music talent, and he can slip into the shoes of many different people. Whereas Sam is quite naive, to the contrast of Al, who is someone who was active in the civil rights movement, prisoner of war in Vietnam, went through a lot more different things. So the one thing is, when we look at this show, it actually done very well, won awards, it actually did very well in the 18 to 49 demographic, and the finale was actually viewed by 13 million households. At the time, a lot of people didn't like the ending. And I'm not going to mention what the ending is, but he was told, but the actual reason they had to end the show was because it was unclear whether Quantum Leap would be renewed, so they kind of rushed the ending. But they did actually, in the last episode, have some long question shows about the show, and it contained enough ambiguity for a season 6. When the season was not renewed, then obviously that's what happened. Now, the thing is with Quantum Leap is, though it was something which was very good at the time, it took a long time for it to come out on actual home video, so most people couldn't watch the repeats of it. They saw it at the time. BBC Two used to repeat it, and then it was shown, it wasn't actually until the mid-2000s you could actually re-watch them. So with a lot of the ideas of Quantum Leap, is what it is, it's talking about how people can change the past or change the way they look at things. And as a hypnotherapist, I think Quantum Leap was a really interesting idea as a teenager to watch, because it made me realise that, oh, it's actually, if you change these things or you renew how you can do that, you can change the present and the future. And so Quantum Leap has a lot of links to how hypnotherapy works, because the idea is when you reframe or you deal with the triggers, you can change the way how you react to things, which also implements how you change your present and your future. The only thing I will say about Quantum Leap is they've now done a new version of Quantum Leap last year and this year. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think the new Quantum Leap show has the humour as the old one does. But the concept's probably more interesting. I think obviously there's more budget for it to look better. Technology's better. I think the actual main person who plays the lead, Ben, is really good. But I think the other characters are a little bit weak. Because, for example, in the old Quantum Leap, you never saw Ziggy the computer, whereas this one you do. So there's certain things where I think what was good about Quantum Leap, it was a lot of things were hidden and you didn't know what it actually was, what was part of it. So